And what have I done here? I haven't got anything set up yet.
Live stream offline.
Anyway, I just was not prepared, as usual. They're sitting here for 10 minutes waiting to do the whole thing, and I clicked the button, I forgot to do everything. Yeah, there we go. That's a good start up. That's 30 seconds into it. And good morning, everybody. Sorry, I'm a bit under the weather. Got a bit of a croaky throat going here. Okay, so where are we? Give everybody a minute, another minute to turn around and get in on the program. Definitely see it's working in. Anyway, that's the main thing. Okay, 3 watching. The numbers will start climbing up now. Where do we go to? That's why I do the roundup first, because it gives people a chance to come in. Okay, and everything's on top of everything today. Okay. Oh. Better. Okay, so what have we got to start with? It always seems to put me on the top. I know this is my test account, and it always puts me on the top. It's a bit weird. Chim Chop Chai is a program that's been running through Thailand. You know, it's a Thailand promotional thing. We had something so very similar to that in the GFC. Australian government decided to just give handouts of money to everybody. This is what Thailand's doing to boost their economy internally. We talk about a bit about that. Another one we did earlier this week was the Temple Fair, which seemed to have been quite interesting for a lot of people with the Wall of Death and everything else. John O'Brien, how are you doing? And of course Blue's Inc. So we got Blue joining us already. We got Blue. He's currently trying to hang something up in his house. A bit of drilling going on there, so he's put himself on mute. And of course we've got Oggy. Good morning, Oggy. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Just checking in, see how things are going.
Yep, just making sure that the audio channel's working properly. Good. And of course we've got Yak Lama. He's also joined. He's got his microphone off, but I'm sure if he wants to say something, he'll pop in and say hello. Good. There he is. Yeah. So where are we? So yeah, a couple of videos out. The Temple Fair. People quite like the what do you call it? The Wall of Death. But again, they're not really sort of hitting any sort of great major milestones with keywords. You know, there's a more local sort of stuff that doesn't really rank well on YouTube, unfortunately. They're good videos, but anyway, that's my opinion. Maggie, what's she up to? She's been very busy with her live streams of late. 356 subscribers, so she's still climbing, still getting there. Uploads, is that the current? So yeah, so alert special live stream. Tennis says she's got something happening. She's going to try to jump on what 10 or 11 GMT time, or is that going to be GMT plus 7? That's going to be an interesting one, isn't it? Is she going to jump on and overlap me? I don't know. A few other things there she's put up. Yeah, I don't know if you've been watching her channel. She's fun to watch. Fi, this is one of her friends. It's a video, the Great Wall of China. It looks like she's over in China at the moment. Chuck, I think he was in Phuket. I haven't actually looked at anything for the last 24 hours. I've been out all yesterday, and that's probably why I've got the croaky throat. I've been burning the candle at both ends again, and it's hit me on the chest. I've got a sore throat and a chest infection. And I've got some strepsils here. That'll help me get through the day. Yeah, so he's down. He's down in Patpong. What Patpong? Patpong. Oh, what happens in Stowe? Okay, I'm looking at it. What happens in Patpong stays in Patpong. But he was down in one of the islands before. That was only 3 hours ago, was it? Okay. I didn't even know that was up there. Thailand
Yeah,
update. Go on.
sorry, he was doing walking street there in Phuket.
Oh, okay, right. So you've checked it out. What do you think? Good video?
I mean, he's there with Foreigner Joe. It was interesting.
Hmm.
I always like seeing what it looks like during the daytime as opposed to the nighttime videos where you can't tell anything.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough, fair enough. And we've had Gago Hopping join us there. How you doing, buddy? And Zero Cool, good to see you too. Hi, Warren, good to see you. Wanted to stop by and say hello. Just got home from work, eating supper. We'll be back in a few. Well, eat up. Okay, so Thailand Unplugged, he does, as I said, we've been through this, he does these news articles, which is a lot of fun. He gets the boys to do a piece and then he sort of slices them all together for an interesting news roundup every few days. And David Daly, Ho Chi Minh, he's off, that was in his trip, he's obviously bounced across the country there. Street Delicious, she's got another food video out. Amazing Street Steamboat, Lock Penang. Okay. Fun for Emily. What's he doing? Renee, what are you doing? Be careful, these guys in Vietnam. Okay. What are they doing? A bit hard to tell on that one. Bangkok travel, Friday night chat, lost in South Thailand, or Southern Thailand, sorry. Loikatrong, so we've got a few Loikatrong videos, obviously coming up. Mine's probably a few days away yet. I've still got a backlog. Foreigner Joe, beautiful drone footage from Papa. How do you say that? I'm not going to try Thailand. Tell me about it. I got to learn somebody better the pronunciation. I tell you. Direction Bangkok. Swarm. There's a 7 waterfalls. Yuan Park National Park. Yes. I've ridden past here a few times. I haven't actually stopped in at the actual waterfalls. Well, actually, I did stop in one time, but we didn't go swimming. It wasn't actually Irwin Park. It was just before you go through. You go through Kanchanaburi City, and you're a bit further out, and there's a waterfall sort of, and street side market sort of thing. But I think he's actually up in the Irwin Park National Park, where you actually pay a entry fee to get in there. Chiang Mai, Sir Jocko. From Chiang Mai to Amsterdam. Looks like he's taking a run back to his home country. Eyes of a Thai. Yeah, she's another live stream. 20 minutes ago, she just finished hers. She's been having a bit of problem with the trolls lately, which is a bit of unfortunately, she's got the power to do something about that and have YouTube step in. We can't get rid of the trolls that way, but what's been going on there is really rather unsightly, and she really needs to sort of contact the Computer Crimes Division and to get that chased up. The Thai National can actually have that done because it's there are strict laws about Thai nationals. Paul in Sydney, Aussie. Hi Warren, still in sunny Samui, enjoying the beach and the seafood. Oh well, yeah, Samui, yeah, it's the best seafood in the country, I think, isn't it? Off for a shower. Okay, Bagaga hopping. We'll catch up with you shortly. And Jim Andrews. I think we talked about that one. He said he's just done some rearranging, or probably just updated a playlist. That foreign bloke still farming life up there. So what's he doing there? A walk in Nong Prajak Park. Dan about Thailand. 5 signs you need to leave Pattaya, Thailand. He always comes up with some interesting titles and some interesting counterpoint, ideas about the Thailand lifestyle. No, that's not the one. That's 1 year ago. Where am I? Discounted brand. Just down a brand new beachfront condo in Prat. God, these names are killing me today. Anyways, if you haven't checked out Dan's channel, he does some great sort of interesting videos, nice, short and sweet, about sort of the sort of things that don't get discussed all that often, but they should be discussed more, and they should hit more of the peaks and troughs of the YouTube algorithm. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't function that way. Do more life. Where are we up to? What's he doing? He's probably again live streaming health insurance questions. Looks like he's covering a bit of the health insurance idea. We do know that the health insurance issue now for all OA visas, that's now in place. And over the next few months we'll see lots of people doing videos on that. Did you have a look at the new 2020 model motorbikes released from Emca in Italy? And Ducati V4 Street Fighter looks great but expensive. I haven't sort of seen it. I know one of our riding group actually has the Street Fighter. I don't think it's the V4 though. It's one of the newer ones. VJ Shack, good morning. How are you? Brian's Thailand. Bangkok to Pattaya time-lapse hyperdrive. Always fun to watch those sort of things. Our Thai journey, rice-filled restaurants. Tim's obviously still out and about doing little videos of interesting bits and pieces around the countryside. Ethan, what's he up to? Live Travel Asia. What's he done here? He's Siam MBK Centre Street Food, Bangkok, Thailand. So he's in the MBK Centre doing the food court, looks like it. Tim, yes, I've got a chest infection, so we'll see how we go. But as they say, the show must go on, I can't put off a chest infection because I've made a scheduled live stream. I've got to take care of the viewers. Nick down in Pattaya uploads Ocean View Resort Chikang. I really don't know if I've screwed that one up. So it looks like that's where he's spending a few days down there. He's got 4 videos. He's got 3 videos up there. So over the last 4 days. I would imagine he's already back, but that's beside the point. We always tend to be these things delayed. And Colin, what's that? 3 days. So he's done his Loikatrong video out there. Big Fat Bestie uploads. And Soy Diana, my favourite soy in Pattaya. We'll see a lot more of Bestie's trip down here. I don't know how long he's staying for. I think he's still in the country. Talkback Thailand. So we've got 5 p.m. today and 5 p.m. tomorrow. Don't forget to join on those. Pinged me online, did you, VJ? I just checked my line account because I get a few people. Oh, are you Sharky? Are you? Is your Sharky on here? Are you? Just confirm that, because me trying to keep track of all the different names people use. So I'm guessing VJ Shuck would be Shucky. That's the one. Yes. Okay. Cool. Now I can put a name to the face, which helps. Whoop. Better not put the actual private message up on there. Okay, so you're on your way over? Well, let's get together and have a coffee. Yeah, anyway, moving along. Andy Wright. Biometrics, he covers the new biometric systems here in Thailand. Mind you, the biometrics has pretty much been compulsory. This is probably, he's just covering it now, but it's been compulsory for, I think, the last 12 months. Or it's been being rolled out across the last 12 months, so it's not new. and it's catching a lot of the unsavoury characters around the place as well. So it's probably all up a good investment for the Thailand immigration. Pai, another live stream on her farm. She did a live stream when she was out on Loi Katrong. And Sarah, her last video was her live stream at Voi Loi Katrong. Gave her a bit of a hand to get that all up and running, but I don't think she's had the right bandwidth on the phone. I don't think she's got the premium bandwidth, or there's just too many people there. So the hour that we spent on the live stream really got chopped down to 38 minutes because of all the buffering. Banana King, good afternoon, good morning, afternoon, morning, so keep track of the time. Yes, that was a bit of a, it was the first stream she's done, but we've got it all. So we've been through a few of the things, so we'll start seeing some more live streams from Sarah very shortly. Hopefully we're going to get together and sort of bounce some ideas off with it next week, if I can actually get out of the house, if I can get rid of this cold. And Rob, what's he done? There we go. 5-star hotel for $60 a night in Bangkok. So he was over in Bangkok a couple of days ago. And last but not least, Serena. Looks like a live stream from her abode down in Phuket there. Anyway, so that's the roundup for today. So there we go. Excuse me. I'm eating strepsils. Keep my throat sort of working, you know. So, where are we at the moment? So we've got 18 people watching. Well, that's what it says, 18 people watching. Stephen Monash having trouble getting through. Is he? Well, we're here, Stephen. I'm not quite sure why that would be. Oh, there he is. I've got you. It says you're there, but your speaker's not working. Is that right? So he's joined the channel. He's joined the Discord, but he's having trouble making the sound work, I'm guessing. Waiting. I'm sure we'll sort it out shortly. You're doing the Humphrey B. Bear impersonation. Very good, very good. Yeah, we've been having trouble getting the actual app on his phone, on his computer, because there's some weird stuff going on his computer there, and not much I can do. Yeah, I've sort of already had 2 already this morning. I don't think you're really supposed to sort of be sucking on like bloody, like sweets. But yeah, I get this bug every probably 6 months. I don't know why. So maybe just a climatic change or something like that. You can tell Warren's remote control is so good. I have a cough too. Right? Really? Well, just chain sucked them. Yeah, seriously. Because they, how they dissolve in your mouth, they start getting little sharp edges, and then your whole mouth goes to blisters if you keep on sucking on them. Anyway, so I had a couple of things we were sort of going to. What were we going to talk about today? Expectations versus real life. Something that if we can get Stephen on here, because there's something we were talking about, and we thought we might sort of take a bit of an elaboration on it. And it's to do with the fact that so many people come over here expecting lifestyle to be something of a Western lifestyle when they get here, and they fall into the trap of the fact that the real life expectations or real life situations outside their expectations they're quite severely missed on sometimes. But as I said, I think we'll wait to see him and see if he get his speaker thing working, and we'll take up that. But I thought, let's start today off. No, we're not going for a ride today. We did a ride last week, didn't we? Stephen will get there, don't worry. Where are we? uh, I thought I'd go back to one of these blogs here again and talk a little bit about. Oops, I'm on the wrong page again. The cookie policy. Basic etiquette for travelling in Thailand. I thought we might sort of, again, this whole culture trip of Thailand. We are in our, moving into our peak season, and I think we don't really talk about enough of this sort of stuff. There are certain things that will allow you to enjoy your trip here. If you know a few of the basics, so I thought, well, let's talk about a few of the basics that we tend not to see too much of. Okay. And Natasha Bean, she's the author of this article, published June 17th, June 2017. Although known worldwide for its vibrant nightlife, delicious food, stunning landscapes and friendly people, Thailand is also deeply proud of its customs and traditions. As a tourist, you will be much more likely to gain local people's respect and friendship if you adapt some of your behaviours. Here are just some of the few suggestions to digest before heading to the beautiful tropical destination Thailand. No, basically you're not coming through at all there, Stephen. Let me just check something. Yeah, and I haven't got you muted or turned down. So it's, again, you've got to just tweak your audio. Something's turned off on your audio. Fidelity Quest, a good topic. Yes, yeah. Well, I thought it was. That's what we're going to talk about. It. Pad Thai. Good afternoon. Actually, I thought Pad Thai had a spanner. This is the real Pad Thai. Well, we'll just have to wait and see. I can't easily go and check to see who I've got on my moderator list, but I thought Pat was on my moderator list. If you start saying anything bad, because there's a Pat Thai that was on, what do you call it, on Nid's channel that was causing some ruckus over there. But we'll just see how it pans out. Yeah, Pat Thai's a good friend of mine, but I thought I already gave her the moderator spanner so we could tell them apart. But we'll get there. Anyway, so yeah, sort of let's have a look at some of the things that we should be talking about, and the whole culture, of Thailand. If you don't really sort of get your head around this sort of stuff, you're going to find that the Thailand trip is not going to be really as pleasurable as you'd made out. You're going to, yeah. Okay, so you're the real one. But again, I thought I had a spanner on you. That's all. But I'll go back and check it out later on and fix it all up. Excuse me. That's a bit better. Anyway, moving on. Do dress properly. So make sure you dress respectably, wander around the country, blah, blah, blah. Thai temples. Shoulders and knees must be covered for both sexes. They don't like dresses in temples at all, even full-length dresses. They get a little bit upset about. So it's one of those things you need to worry about. Yeah. Well, you don't want to be a mechanic. You don't want to fix the. You don't want to fix the. You don't want to be sort of tightening the bolts of the program pad. Is that right? Yeah, but one of the things that I think I've mentioned it other times. Bikinis are okay if you're on the beach on the sand. Bikinis are okay, but if you're going to walk across to get food at lunchtime, it's always advisable, in Thailand to put something a little bit more covering on. I know it's hard for us to grasp that from the Western perspective. Yeah, exactly. Sorry. Have you covered the new visa and insurance requirements? Just wondering. Ray. Good afternoon. Good morning. Afternoon. I haven't covered it yet because there's going to be a whole bunch of people doing it, and I haven't had to deal with it. I don't have to deal with that until next August. It is a requirement. Yeah, I think, Stephen, yeah, you don't have to wear underpants as long as you have, have pants on, whatever. But yeah, so the insurance requirements, I think, as I said, one of the channels we just reviewed, was it Do More Life? He's just got an article out there, I think in the last 2 days, if I just remember rightly. He's covering his first take on the whole insurance issue. It is a compulsory thing we've got to deal with now. Of course, if you decide to come here on an O visa, which is the marriage visa, you currently don't have to worry about it. So it's an option people are now looking at. But I'm in the process of investigating the whole thing now, and when I've got enough information that I can be informative on, then we'll cover it. At the moment, I'll be just jumping on the bandwagon of the clickbait and talking through my arse. So that doesn't work for me, and probably doesn't work for you too. Yes, it's hot outside, and yes, it's uncomfortable, but you may be turned away or denied entry if too much skin is shown. Yes. Just something to remember. So dress properly. It's a very conservative country. I think we've covered this enough. Do respect the monarchy. Actually, probably the best thing: don't say anything about the monarchy at all. Don't give your opinion on the royal family. Keep your comments about the governmental system to a bare minimum. Say nothing really out of sorts with anything to do with the way they run the country here, right? It's not your country, so you really don't have the right to sort of say how it is run, and you can find yourself in a whole bunch of shit if you start really getting quite vocal about it. So it's just, again, and do take your shoes off, especially going to temples, people's houses. This is again, it's not only you're tramping dirt through establishments, and most places you go to have nice, clean, shiny tile floors, and it's quite common for Thais to eat on the floor, with a little sort of mat on the floor. That's a sort of a standard sort of Thai tradition. We don't have like tables and chairs, or some places do, but eating from tables and chairs is not really the norm. Sitting down on the floor, on the cool floor, with a sort of a place setting, and the food's laid out, 6 or 7 bowls of food, and people are just sitting on the floor. So, taking your shoes off is always a good thing. It's a sign of respect when you're entering somebody's establishment. You'll also find some shops. Always, before you enter the threshold, look at the doorway. Is there shoes parked outside the door? If there is, the best thing there is just take your shoes off, and it will gain respect. So we'll get to that in a second. Let me just Fidelity Cresta. Scottish kilts seem like a cool option in the sweltering Thailand. Well, one of the things I was heavily into sort of wearing shorts many places, and I've actually gone to wearing longer trousers now, and I'm finding that actually cooler. It doesn't really sort of make sense, but wearing cotton trousers, I've got cotton cargo shorts, which are sort of nice and loose fitting, plus my Levi's 501s. I tend to wear them everywhere now, and I'm finding it's cooler. It's just basically the sweat goes into the cotton, the slight breeze that you get then keeps the trousers cooler, which then goes back and touches your legs, and it just keeps you cool. You actually feel more comfortable in long pants. And if you look at the Thais, predominantly Thais wear long sleeve shirts and long trousered pants. You will sort of see them if they're out for short little runs everywhere. They'll be probably wearing shorts and t-shirt. But if they know that they're going to be out in the sun or wandering around the city or out for long periods of time, they tend to cover more. But what they're wearing cottons, cotton or linen. It's a very cooling fabric. So something to think about. I know it's counterintuitive, from where we come, because we come from usually sort of drier climates. But here in Thailand, the humidity and everything else really does make life a little bit more comfortable. Well, that's what I've been finding anyway. So something that you might find it useful as well. Pat Thai. I'm assuming if my pic is on with my name, it should be me. Correct? No. What they're doing is they'll actually sort of capture and they'll Photoshop what that picture is on your account, because they can go to see your account, which has got probably no videos. And the example I would give here is if I go to your channel and bring that over there, so there's your picture here. I know we're getting a little bit too personal probably, but there's your picture. They can then sort of crop this picture out, and then they'll throw it up as their picture. It's just one of those sort of things. So this actually does look like your channel. I'm pretty sure I've seen this before, and they don't normally clone the other bits and pieces that go on there, they don't bother with your playlists either. So I'm pretty sure that's who you are. So let's go and give Pat there. So I'm pretty confident this is the right Pat, and give her a spanner so we don't have any more issues with that. So we know who Pat is. Excuse me. Ask Pat a security question. Yes. Yeah, and Blue's back. Good afternoon again, Blue.
Yeah, hello.
What was Ellis's first name? PopeKael, and yes, you're like, I know that's how Pat does talk. So, excuse me, not a drink of water. David SK from Melbourne. Good afternoon. VJ, does Thailand honour PR, permanent resident, instead of visas? There is a permanent residency process you can go through here, VJ. Vinay. Oh, I should just call you Sharky.
Sharky.
There is a process that Stephen actually knows more about it, but he seems to be having trouble with his microphone. You've got to be able to speak, read, and write Thai. You've got to be able to sing the national anthem. You have got to have been in the country for a minimum of 3 years on an OA visa before you can apply. And the application has you in front of a panel where they're going to look at, stringently look at you, and every country has a maximum of 100 people are allowed to apply every year. So it's probably not a problem with Australia, but American might have the Americans moving here or English people moving here, they might have a harder challenge because they might not get in for that application, that period. As I said, I haven't gone through the process, so I really don't know all the finer details. I think Stephen's got more angle on that one. He's had people deal with it. Poor Stephen, he's bouncing around the place trying to get something working here, but it's obviously on his side, not my side, because everybody else is managing to talk. So, where are we? So, now I'm Butch. You know me well. Okay, so Robert Mack in Asia. Good afternoon. Watching from Vietnam. Good. Yeah, so it would be afternoon for you. Anyway, so now getting back to the cultural aspects here of Thailand. Don't touch a person's head. This is a pretty much the feet are the lowest part of the body. We've talked about this before. Might as well just go through it again. It's considered dirty, so taking your shoes off the door so that you all that sort of stuff is all part of the feet being the bottom part of the body, but again, the top part of the body is the crown chakra, the peak of the pyramid of the physical body, and it is in every sort of respect the sacred part of the body. So don't touch people's head. You may get away with little children, but again, it's they're not your children. So the best thing is if it comes to children, give them a pat on the shoulder or something. You don't have to pat them on the head. Leave that for the parents. Do negotiate with your tuk-tuk driver. It's an interesting one to, tuk-tuk drivers are notorious for taking people to undesired locations. Yes, I think I've talked about my experiences with that, such as men's tailors, jewellery stores, and they didn't mention the red light districts, which was the case on my first experience with a tuk-tuk. I think we had 2 tailors and 2 massage parlours from Ceylon to Pantai Plaza, which is up near Central World. And the way he took me was just totally bizarre. All up, it cost me 700 baht to get from point A to point B. I just was really naive the first time I did that. First and last time, caught out, never did it again. They do this to receive a gas card or some sort of commission from shop owners. Yeah, so that's it. They ally themselves with the shops, and they get commissions from bringing the unsuspecting travellers to have a look at these particular tailors or jewellery shops, or specifically pretty girls. And we've heard some great stories. If you're ever over here, we can talk about the great stories. I won't talk about them on the live stream. I won't make videos of it. It's the sort of thing we can chat about over drinks at a bar somewhere, if you know what I mean. But yeah, so you got to look. You got to know where you want to go. So what Stevens was saying. Don't start a fight with a tuk-tuk driver. Yeah, I know that's something I've sort of seen on the news lately, and it seems to be happening more and more. Westerners seem to get a little bit more sort of a bit more feisty these days. They're coming over here for a holiday, and why they have to bring their baggage with them? Just oh my god. Don't touch heads unless of course you're a Thai boxer. Don't start a fight. Yes, we did that one. Don't use horrible dial tones on your phone. Leave me alone, Stephen. He hates my little Facebook Messenger ping. And don't take a piss in public. Yes, that's a good one. Or a dump in your pants. In your pants, it's fine. Just get home and get a grip. Yeah, okay. He's been trying to get a grip all week, have you? Natman Allen, hey Waz, how's it doing? Good to see you here. Again, when it comes to tuk-tuk drivers, get an idea how far you're travelling. Use Google Maps. As I said, I've been plugging all the visitors recently here about. Again, the app I've been great on lately is this new Via. You probably won't see that because of the blue screen. Via Bus. It tells you all the buses going past your area. You just say, I want to go there. And it'll give you the bus numbers of the buses that are going past the destination, and you jump on the next bus. And a bus is going to get you there pretty much just as fast as a tuk-tuk, as a taxi, and it invariably probably costs you no more than 10 baht, or if you actually get an air-conditioned bus, maybe 15 baht for wherever you're going to. So why would you be sort of, stung 700 baht for, a trip to, Pantet Plaza, of all places, if you know what I mean? If you don't know where you're going, you're going to get yourself into a whole bunch of strife. Let's use a bit of common sense. And then again, look, they're open to negotiations, but sort of, if you might sort of say it's 25 baht per kilometre sort of thing, you might want to sort of work around. Know how far you're going before you start the negotiation. Taxis have a flag full of 35 baht at the moment, and I think that covers the first 2 kilometres, I think it is. So again, you got to knowing how much things cost. These are sort of things. Well, we'll do more of this when Stephen gets over here. We're going to do a bit more of this. Hacking Thailand. He hasn't been here for a couple of years, so we thought we might sort of cover that on a couple of your videos. Stephen's sober this morning. No, so this is the Stephen Monash. This is not Stephen Clark. I think that's who you're referring to. Hey Dallo, good morning. Do they still have passes available for months and months? I really don't know about the bus pass situation. I know there was something that they tried to introduce, but it didn't fly very well, and I haven't heard much more about it. And again, it's something that if they are available, they're all the stuff's in Thai, so I'm not fully up to speed on reading Thai at that level, so I really couldn't tell you. But again, I don't even think about it. It's not like I'm catching the bus every day, so effectively, I'm jumping on a bus going from point A to point B. I'm not doing that every day, so I don't need a pass. Google Maps has removed all excuses for not knowing where you exactly. You go to your Google Maps. People sort of say, why don't I do the workshops on these as well? It's something that I have thought about doing. This hacking Thailand sort of stuff and how to get around. Again, trying to put it into a video can be a bit of a challenge. So it's something I need to sort of think about more of. But primarily with Google Maps, you bring that up. You say where you want to go to. You press the button or find a location. You hit the directions button, and for some reason I think I need to reboot my phone. Oh, there it is. So I'm going from me to Victoria Gardens. 11 minutes on a motorcycle. 34 minutes on public transport, and it basically, it tells me what bus is here as well. Google Maps doesn't give me the price, of course. Also consider Grab, and Grab's sort of saying 50 to 55 baht for that distance as well. So there's a lot of stuff you can do on the Google Maps. It's going to really help you out, especially here in Thailand. I know Google Maps doesn't work everywhere in the world because some countries don't let them run their little trucks around the place, but it really helps over here. So get used to using Google Maps. It's going to be your best friend when you're over here. That's what other things can we talk about? What other things can we sort of say are good hacks for the etiquette? Respect your elders. There is a definite hierarchy. I'll catch up to you. There is a definite hierarchy in status here. If a person is older than you, always do the polite way to them. That's the hands together way. If it's a monk, it's a very high way. If it's W-A-I way, so if it's a monk, it's the fingers to the forehead, and it's a very polite bow. If it's an elder, it's around the chin or nose to chin area. If you're replying to somebody who is younger, because they should be weighing to you as part of their culture, then it's chest height, just under the chin, and give a little nod in reply. These are sort of little hacks that will really get you through a daily encounter with Thai people and garner a little bit more respect and a little bit more service from them as well. So always think about that. It's respect your elders. I know we're not taught to do that in the West, and so trying to get the millennials to respect their elders seems like a challenge that's almost impossible to do these days. But maybe we just need to get back on that one. Kun pi waran kun pi. I'm not quite sure what that means. Pat, you have to just rephrase it. Anyway, so getting back to Jordan, hello. I was just on the way to sleep. It's type 4 o'clock in the morning. Then was it live stream? Must look in a bit. Okay, hey, good day, Jordan. Guess it's getting pretty cold up there at the moment for you guys. My bad, Stephen. Yeah, bad, Stephen. Yeah. Robert Mack. I wanted to go to Terminal 21 in Bangkok. My first time visiting. Asked a tuk-tuk driver how far. He said 8 blocks. Wanted 300 baht. Finally talked him down to 200 baht. And it was a block away. Yes. Again, if you don't know how far you're going, you're going to find yourself in all sorts of trouble. And again, motorcycle taxis pretty much the same. Motorcycle taxis aren't so bad, but if you're a single person trying to get around, they can be inexpensive. But all their signboards are in Thai. You really don't know. Getting back to the whole thing, again, it's like, for me, it's almost a kilometre down to the main road. I think it's 800 metres down to the main road. And our local motorcycle taxis, it's 10. Oh, it's actually 9 baht. I always give them 10 baht. I don't worry about the 1 baht extra. You just don't think about it. But they charge 9 baht here, so you might sort of say it's like about 10 baht per kilometre for a motorcycle taxi. Around about. Don't hold me to it, but that's the sort of thing. Okay, maps on phone. I was all the way in other city, then battery out. When you're out and about and you're using your phone all day, don't forget to. I better put mine on charge. I was out all day yesterday, and get yourself one of your little plug-in battery packs there. They come in very handy if you're going to be out all day. There we go. Might as well recharge that thing up. So Pad Thai, beware of taxis saying no around 3 to 4 p.m. as the shift ends. So again, I think we covered this last Monday. Look for the green and gold cabs. They're the private owned cabs. You tend to get a better service from them. They're a little bit more lenient. They're private ownership. They don't have these cycles of the day finishing and they've got to get back to the depot and things like that for the next driver. So it can be a bit of a challenge with the pink and the blue and the red, and I don't know how many other colours are there. I'm not quite sure how many other colours there are. But they're single coloured cabs. They're all to do with cab companies that own the cabs and they hire the drivers. They're the ones you'll also have trouble with, especially, in some of the more busy tourist areas where they won't want to put the meter on because they want to put the money in their pocket as opposed to, sharing it with the cab company owner. It's quite funny. You see these sort of things. They'll do that. They won't put the meter on, and then when the ride's finished, then they put the meter on for a 35 baht fare. So quite comical. But anyway, That's such. Always look for the green and golds. Is it older brother Warren? Kun P. Sorry, now I'm following. What's it? We are going to we're going to be in Bangkok March, April. We're going to be in Bangkok. Well, you are, aren't you? Really classified as Bangkok? You're just down, or is that where you? I thought you sort of said you actually got a house down in was it somewhat Prakan down there? I thought that's what you said. You lived there. Maybe I got that one wrong. But anyway, going to be back in March, April. Fair enough. Okay. Stephen, mate, got it. TM30. Chai Cup, Stephen. What's Songkran like? Songkran. Just some strange questions you're asking, Dallo. You know what Songkran's like. Sure you do. I'm sure you've been here for Songkran. You've been following the channel. We've done that before. Anyway, Songkran's just hot and wet. Well, wet because they're spraying you with water, and hot because it's in the middle of summer. Chris B, good afternoon. Hi everyone. Hot Songkran Dallo. Yes, Stephen, I heard it's wet. Be great for Thai family time with my wife, tells me. I would have thought you'd been out here for a Songkran before, Dallo. It's a bit odd, just throwing me a bit of a curveball there. Yes, I've done, well, obviously the last 3 years, but even in my travels backwards and forwards, I think out of the 7 years, I think I managed to time my trips over here 3 times for Songkran, and it was quite a lot of fun. Every year that we came, there was always a different experience. As the junta took over, they became less fun. They got a little bit more official and a bit more officious in the way they dealt with the revelry. Wet T-shirts, in some areas can get severely frowned upon. Although it does happen, you got things like that. You're going to need to, you need to sort of again getting back to the do dress properly. The Songkran issues, wet T-shirts. And the girls, they can get into a bit of strife with, the wet T-shirt and the nipples showing through the wet T-shirt and things like that. Used to be a lot more open, but it's now been closed up. All those little things there, and they're a bit. You got to be more respectful for it. What are you doing, Blue? You're still drilling. Anyway, he's trying to hang, with those. I'm not going to go. He's not trying to hang him. You're trying to drill something in the ceiling there to hang these bouncy seats for your kids. Is that right? Okay, Bossa Nova. Good afternoon. Don't see any thumb or fingers up. So how's our audience going? I haven't been checking that. So normally Stephen keeps an eye on that. I got 17 thumbs up. That's all right. So 22 people watching. I think it's again that time of the day. We've done this so that we can capture, the Americans before they go to sleep, or in some people's case, before they wake up. We don't get the English audience, but again, some of the Aussies they're out watching the game. So. But it's also Saturday mornings. It works well for me, and I'm going to have another Strepsils. I've only got one more left. I might be cutting the whole stream short today. Have always grabbed taxi been a good experience? No, well, see, in my case, I do have the Grab app, but I also know how much the thing. So if I look at Grab right now. And this is the example I use. So there's Grab. Now, where I was going to, dismiss that message. So if I want to get a car, right, where do I want to go? Enter your destination. You can go across your map here. There's a lot more grabs on there now than there was before, but I would be normally saying, well, up until recently, I'll be going down to enter your destination. I'm going to, okay, Bangwa. Bangwa, BTS Bangwa. Right, so it's telling me right now from my location 74 baht. Now this is interesting. Find the nearest taxi. I find that a bit strange because when I used to use this, it was I slept the type of ride. I did that, so yeah. Basic fare, 60 baht. So it's actually telling me minimum fare 65 baht, whereas it would be 110 baht from the taxi down the bottom of the street. Last time I checked this, it was 160 baht. So it was generally 30 to 40 baht more than a normal taxi. The plus side is they'd pick you up from your door, but you're probably waiting 20 minutes. So that's interesting. I haven't been looking at the grab fares. Maybe prices have come down. I have to do some more checking on that one now. But again, there's probably more competition. So this thing is becoming more accepted. So the competition has been a bit more rampant. And I'm just looking at the location here and zooming out a bit. Yeah, I can definitely see a lot more grabs on the road at the moment. When it zooms in. When I last looked at the app, I only use it for ordering pizza, by the way. There was a lot less cabs, so I guess they were charging a premium. I guess that they've got a lot more competition now, so the prices may be coming down in retrospect. Houses in Praxi, yeah. But yeah, so I'm guessing, like, getting back to Dala, I thought you actually lived in there, or that's just where your wife's house is and you come and go. Maybe I'm just getting things confused with too many other people. I must have start keeping a book of all the things people tell me, because it's it gets quite confusing with all the things I'm trying to learn Thai, and I'm gonna have to get into the garbage bin in here sometime. I still I don't hold the reference never being soaked in water during Songkran. Why? What? They've never sprayed you, or you're just too tall? Yeah, so I've got a few videos there. If you go to the website, you can bring the website up. So if we do that, and we go DIA, always plug my website. If you're not part of it, then you're not part of it. You just need to be on the website. Put in SONGKRAN. Hit the search button, and yes, there we go. It was in Sukhothai and Prey this year. There was a street party, the Rinma Festival, day 2, the merit making. So I've got, that's 5 per page. I've got 20 Songkran videos over the last 3 years. Actually, there's probably a few more there. So there we go. So that's Songkran shopping, roundup. That was last year with the local street party, merit making. The grandfather, he's recently been admitted at a hospital. He's not doing too well these days. 2017 Songkran, again more parties, and of course that was some of the private videos, the members only videos, which I have access to because I'm the admin. But So there we go. So it was that one there. That was what's that one? Water fountain. Don't know why that one's coming up there. Like a trunk. So I think probably because of the fact there's a search word, a keyword search. I think I probably mentioned in the description there's something to do with Songkran as well. Yeah, there we go. So the word, it picked up the Songkran word there. But yeah, so don't forget, it doesn't cost you anything to get a membership when you're not logged in. So if I log out, go on, speed up. So yeah, so that's the website there. You don't see the members only section. If you don't have a membership, you just basically click on the register member registration. Right, and it'll take you to the process. You can just be a subscriber. It's free to cross as a subscriber. That keeps you informed of what's going on. Right, we've also got our same Patreon levels here. Logging in. Once you're logged in, so there we go. I'm going to log back in again. Log back in again. Yes. Oh, really? There we go. Go back home. Yeah, and of course that then opens up the members only area. Again, if you haven't got a paid membership, you won't get access to the members only area, which has got 43 odd videos in there. If you're a Patreon, you get access to that through the web page, but if you're a Patreon, you won't get access to those videos. Well, you do, but trying to find them out of 400 videos on Patreon is a challenge. But if you become a Patreon, just let me know you become a Patreon, then of course I just increase your membership here when, just to keep it in sync. I have to do that manually, unfortunately. Don't forget, if you don't want to be a member, that's okay, but you want to get notified of any of the videos when they get released, just hit the subscribe button there. Subscribe to the newsletter. That's another option that you've got. Everything's opt-in. We don't sort of throw it and spam you. You've got to sort of opt-in, and then you've got the opt-out and everything else that goes with it. So keep an eye. I said if you're not using the website, we've got some more things happening very shortly. This is the most recent one here. This will be something that's going to come in the next couple of months. We've been sort of working on that one. We started work on this last week. There's absolutely nothing there at the moment, but it's in place. Yeah, we're putting up a store. Finally going to bite the bullet and do some marketing as well. So that's something that's coming in the future. Let you know how that goes. Stay tuned, and there will be a link on the main website to the store, so there's something to look forward to. Okay, so let's go back. What have I missed? Yeah, so looking back at the older videos, so a lot of fun. And they will always do little Songkran videos. They always rate very well. And of course, next year we should hopefully have a house by then, and we'll be able to have our own Songkran party in our own house and everything else. So if you're out here for that, we'll definitely sort of get you to come around and sort of party on with us. Now, Jorgen, Songkran is fun, but can be a bit much. Yeah. The Songkran and Pattaya can get really over the top, and once you get soaked, you really you do dry out, but it's the what they call it, the flower stuff that they do, and of course, and what's recently been talked about is they're using what they call the prickle heat powder, which then starts to, if you get it in your eyes, it can burn quite severely as well. So it can be a little bit of a sort of hit and miss down in Pattaya. Cooking lamb on a spit today. So I can't stick around. Oh, well, if you're going to get eating lamb, yeah. Always nice to have. It's one of the meats I used to enjoy eating when I was in Thailand, in Australia. I don't eat it over here, of course. What am I eating? I'm eating strepsils because I've got a strep throat, and I'm going to have to get some more. go home. I haven't been able to find caramel M&Ms in Thailand recently. I don't recall ever seeing caramel M&Ms. Is that something that was English? Because I don't remember seeing them in Australia, or maybe they've come out in Australia since I left. I really don't know. I know we had the peanut ones, we had almond ones, and we had the normal chocolate ones, but I don't recall caramel M&Ms. Maybe it's just something I just haven't been looking out for. Again, I've been trying not to eat that sort of junk as well. I'm pretty sure Stephen was hiding under a bed when he sort of said you didn't get soaked, or just didn't go out and have fun, you know. This is something about Stephen. You just got to learn to have fun. You got to actually get out there and have some fun, Stephen. Okay. When I used grab in Bangkok, the fare and timing was wrong. Yeah, that's just surprised me today. The fare that they're recommending there seems to be sort of quite off. It's almost half the price of what it used to be, or less than half of what it used to be. But then again, they're very just, you know, it could be just a competition we have to deal with. Stephen, my name's Robert, has never been slapped in the face because people can't reach it. Grab eat, yeah. I've been sort of ordering the grab. The grab's actually not a bad app. I have to admit, you know, from what I've been doing, you got deliveries, you got groceries, drive for me. You can actually get a driver. So, how does that work? Drive for me. So they come to you and then they drive your car? Is that how that works? I'll have to find out a bit more about that one. I've got to actually link this up with my K-Bank at some stage. I haven't done that yet. Yes, I'm 3 feet above the water. Yes, I know. Excuse me. Yes, that's your wife's house. Dala, I thought you were actually living here, so it's obviously you're doing the bouncing backwards and forwards into your wife's house, which is like what I did for 7 years. We were renting, of course, but she had the house, and then I would just go from airport to house rather than to a hotel. Thanks for putting the links up there. Eddie, you want to come on and just have a chat? We're all here. You know, Blue's here, and Yak Lama's here. Oggie's gone AFK, and Stephen, he's got some sort of problem with his sound system, which we don't have time to sort of sort it out now, but we'll sort it out after we finish the stream. Jorgen, I hope I can't get it to work. Then maybe sooner. So what are we talking about there? What is Loikatrong? Here, Tim Briney. Loikatrong it's like a end of harvest festival. It's the time of the year where you traditionally it's the water festival of getting rid of the old and welcoming the new. So you make a katong, which is a gift to the water gods. You light your candle, you light your incense, and you basically send all your bad feelings out to the water, right? And the water gods, they take the pain away. That's the traditional sort of way of looking at it. Then, of course, that opens up the new year, right? This is basically the start of the new season, the cool season in the 11th month, where everything starts to cool down, right? And this is where the fun starts. So we're pretty much from now until Songkran is the fun time of the year. This is the time for celebration. So it's out with the old, in with the new sort of idea in a Western culture framework. So I probably should get rid of that thing up the screen so we go back and do that as well. And then we get all my hand motions again. Yeah, so if that helps, yeah. baking soda. I'm not quite sure. Baking soda, what? For my throat? Not quite sure I've ever heard baking soda be good for a sore throat. Um, yes, I've got something's just, it happens every 6 months or so. I get this strep throat, which goes to my chest and takes me 3 or 4 days to get it over it. I've got to get to the chemist, get some more Tiffy. That's the general remedy we have over here, which is Tiffy's a decongestant. And of course, a friend of mine brought me this one. You probably can't see it there. So I've actually got the magic elixir now. This will help me get over it faster. The Senegal ammonia. But I got it next downstairs, and I've got to make the potion up. Should have done that before I started the stream. Anyway, so I've got my Senegal ammonia now. I'm good. Who brought that one over? I think was it. That's right. David brought. Pretty sure David brought that over for me. The latest video, the Chim Chop Chai, even a lot of the Thais don't know about it, because it really, you've got to be plugged into social media, and like, again, Thais are a little bit, they watch their soapies, and when an ad comes on, most of them just sort of switch off. It's a sort of mental process. We get blasted with ads everywhere. There was also a limit to how many vendors could participate, and then there was also a limit to how many Thais could actually join. Once you joined once, you couldn't rejoin. Tim was asking about it yesterday as well. There is a phase 3 starting up on this one here. Actually, that's probably something I can put up on screen, so give you a bit more information on Chim Chop Chai. Phase 3. Yeah, so that's basically phase 2's over. Yes, the cabinet endorses. So we're going to the cabinet has endorsed the phase 3 operation. Has approved the third phase of the Chim Chop Chai Eat Shop Spend scheme, with some changes to the subscription method to be worked out by the Finance Ministry and the Prime Minister. Prayat Chanya announcement today. When was that? That was published on 12th of November. So what is it? No, it's the 16th, so that's 4 days ago. Instead of people needing to wake up very early in the morning in order to log in to subscribe before the daily subscription quota is reached, the Prime Minister said that for the third phase, subscriptions will be done during the day, defending the system against criticism that it has been a waste of taxpayers' money. The Prime Minister said the government did not spend additional funds on the scheme, but simply used the available money to spur spending at a grassroots level. Again, that's basically to get some motivation, and money changing hands across the economy, because everybody's finding it tough. The monetary policy and the inflows of money, it's quite good. Something we're going to talk about later, but we can't get Stephen on here, so makes it a bit harder to talk about it, because we were preparing for it before. So although 13 million people have subscribed to the first and second phases of the program, with the government claiming it has boosted the domestic economy, well, that's again subject to opinions. What I have been reading is the fact that the intention was to give them 1,000 baht so that they would actually spend more than that. But what we're finding is a lot of Thais are just running to the next promise. If they're close enough, they're just running to the next province, spending the 1,000 baht that they're getting as a gift, and then taking it back home. They're not actually going to the province, right, to spend a day looking at tourist attractions and things like that, or the local things that was one set of thinking versus another set of thinking, if that makes any sense. Of course, I should be doing it from there. Each subscriber was provided 1,000 baht. So the subscribers are also entitled to 50% rebates on spending 30 to 50,000 baht. Another one, I think there's the phase 3. It's not actually written up here, but I believe the phase 3 is not giving the money away. They're going to give a percentage discount. Was one of the things I read, but again, it looks like it hasn't been finally approved yet. So where it's going, and I believe it's sort of it runs through till the end of January. And that got more. It's the standard. It's in Thai. As far as the Dem shop, open to 2 million registered people, so 2 million people can register for it. Total endorsement by 15 million phase 3. The difference between phase 1 and phase 2 is that there is 1,000 baht payment in a G wallet, but cash back from the government when spending through the G wallet too. If using when paying for products not over 30,000 baht, you will get 15% refund. Blah blah. Anyway, I don't know why we're talking about it to that level. It's something that you can go and check out yourself, but it's not available for foreigners, so it's nothing for us. It's for the Thai people. But it's been an interesting project. A lot of people are saying it just hasn't met their expectations to boost the economy, because people are just, it's free money and that's what they're doing it for. They'll just go and get their 1,000 baht worth. That's it. They're not doing anything more. The program is like, give them 1,000 baht with the intention that they could spend 10,000 baht, wishful thinking. But yes, that's basically the way the program works. Okay, so I'm now on the sort of, okay, so I'm on the same page with you now, Dale. Sorry about that. Sorry, just catching up. Tiffy makes me drowsy? No, Tiffy doesn't make me drowsy, especially if I was drinking vodka Red Bulls last night. I'm still quite up. Robert Groves, good afternoon. Good to see you here. Dale, all good with you? Most were topping up their SIM cards. I don't think that was actually a possible thing you could do. That you had to actually be buying a product. You couldn't actually top up your sort of phone card. It wasn't part of the program. Don, good afternoon. Well, good morning. I'm trying to. It's in the States, evening. And Pat, you were right about Thai exports as the Thai baht becomes stronger if customers go elsewhere. And again, so the Thais are sort of doing their trips overseas, and they're getting the bargains on electronic goods. This is another thing that's come up recently, is the fact that the what do you call it? The customs looking at reducing a lot of their what they call import duties, because the Thais are now going out of the country, spending their money out of the country because the products are too expensive here in Thailand. So, if you can afford to go and fly out of the country, then you're going to sort of reap the benefits of buying cheaper cameras, cheaper telephones, cheaper this, cheaper everything else. The sort of stuff that's that the Thais are looking for at the moment. And of course, with the continual rising of the baht, that just keeps on getting to a point there that, it's not, the whole thing's fallen to pieces, which is something I was actually, that was basically where we're, I've got a couple of articles here that I've prepped these guys on, but as I said, it's a bit of a shame I can't get Stephen involved in it. Anyway, we'll get to that in a second. So throw me out. It's soon morn and should maybe asleep. Yeah, if you look, we don't want to keep you up there, Sir Jorgen. But if you got to go, you got to go. But stick around if you do. It's all good. Can Kensian O'Connor Echo. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how we say that. Like opening up a traffic lane, it fills quickly but doesn't work. Yeah, well, that's it again. It managed in Australia when they gave away all that money. I think there's something going on now. Fill your tax return and they're giving you $1,000 rebate at the moment again to spur the economy. But again, in Australia, they're paying off their credit cards and not, rather than actually sort of putting it back into the economy. Nothing on the news. No news on the housing front at the moment. The paperwork has been done. It's been sent in. Chanya's expecting something to come back from them next week. So I've got another house hunting video coming out, I think, tomorrow. So that was another ones we looked at. Next province, and she was really actually quite enticed by these ones we looked at out here. They just, again, it's the thing I would look at there. If we move to the next province, I get to move my whole immigration bullshit out to Nakhon Pathom, which doesn't have anywhere to the queues as Bangkok, which would be a bonus. But then again, we're a little bit further away from civilization as well, so it's an extra. It wasn't quite as far as the 5.4 million baht ones that we looked at first on the round. This is a little bit smaller. Typically, a state like this, it's a gated community, not too expensive for the monthly, what they call monthly gate fees. And the price of the houses, for what you were getting, looked pretty good. There was three different models, and it's filling up quickly from what I understand. So something to do. Wait till the video tomorrow. Great background picture. I've trawled the net trying to find some nice, pictures of Bangkok at night, Bangkok at day. We're so used to seeing Thailand in the holiday photos of water and picturesque water scenes with boats and everything else. People forget that Bangkok is a modern modern city, and you quite lose the whole impact of the what goes on. And it's if you've never been here, you won't know what I'm talking about. But it's one of those wonderful places. I love Bangkok. We've been waiting for the first home buyers grant. I don't think they got one of those, though, Stephen. It would be nice. That would be a way to sort of also spur on the economy, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. Any more good? I wish they'd give us some cash stimulus to elderly on the Thai pension. Wish they would give some cash stimulus to the elderly on Thai pensions. I don't know how the pension system works, Adrian. From what I understand, like the 1,000 baht a month that they get or something doesn't even buy rice for a month, let alone anything else. But there is a pension system of some subscription. Not that I'm entitled to it, so it doesn't cross my mind. Housewarming party at Warren's. Yes. Well, once we get something done, we'll definitely work out some sort of party thing that anybody in the place, you'll be welcome over to come in and sort of help bless the house. I think that's a tradition we have to sort of abide by over here. When you look at the Thai property, you have to ask yourself, does it sink or does it float? Well, we can joke about that all we want, but yeah, Bangkok is sinking. So it's something we have to consider as well. Jorgen, you're going to come over from where are you? Sort of Denmark, aren't you? So you're going to fly all the way from Denmark just for a house party. That's dedication. I like that. But anyway, over 60 got about 600. Is it 600 baht? Is it? I thought it was 1,000 baht. Okay, it's even less than I thought. So what does 600 baht get you? God, what's that? 20 baht a day? Is it? I suppose it buys you noodles once a day. 600 baht, 2 massages a month. Yeah, okay. But you're not allowed to spend it all at once. Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, so the thing where about sinking, heard someone talk about environmental is underwater in, well, there was, I made reference to it on a recent article as well. I've only started saving the links that I've used in the last couple of videos, so I can't go back that far. I'd have to go and look at the videos. But yeah, there was an article that they were talking about in the next 50 years, by 2050, what places would be underwater. And it's actually quite shocking. But again, there is a lot of conjecture about that. Like as I said, we've got the place in Sydney Harbour, and they're talking about water level rising, and well, they built that 150 years ago, and it's still the mean average tide in Sydney Harbour is still the same level it was 150 years ago. So, what's all this sinking that they're talking about? Bangkok is sinking because it's on a clay alluvial plain, and as they put more of these high rises up, the ground itself underneath it dries out and shrinks. So that's what we got in Bangkok, which is called, I think it's 2 centimetres a year. So it's getting lower. They're going to have to do what they did in Holland, and they're going to put a sort of a great retainer wall there, and sort of lower the sea level for the mouth of the river, and then pump it out at low tides, sort of thing. There are ways around that, of course. Getting every government on the planet on board with the whole let's fix the planet rather than sort of make money. Well, that's never going to happen. They make a good incentive to live to 100, exactly. Pat, I always like to give a tip. Bangkok singing KFC, because of KFC McDonald's? No. They don't have anything to do with it. I know they're putting more weight on the Thai people, but it's the high-rise buildings. Believe me, so it's not Thais getting fatter that's causing the sinking. Believe me. I was told you can buy a train ticket at a discount over 6. I was actually under the impression that over 60 that it was free. I thought train travel was free over 60, or maybe that's the state rail. And there's there was a discount card on your MRT and the BTS. There's what they call a seniors card. But I thought the SRT, the State Rail Authority, I thought that was actually free. It's bloody almost free for everybody anyway. Like I think, from train trip from here to Hua Hin, for instance, was only like 20 baht in third class anyway. So they could effectively sort of give it away for the old over 60s. Okay, so my trip to Chiang Mai cost 6 baht. Didn't bother asking for a discount. Yeah, so well, you were really going Force Club, but were you on the ceiling on that one? Were you? Yeah, I think I've been saying that to Jorg, and I said, why buy a house? We should buy a houseboat. Then we won't worry about the whole rising of the sea, the tides. But then again, like what do you do with your motorcycles? Too many Farang moving here. Well, the Farang aren't coming here anymore. That's the problem. Excuse me. I'm going to have to get that decongestant shirt soon enough. It's a bit more soothing. Oh wait, we all almost got 30 years left. Yeah, okay. That's right, you're only a youngster, aren't you? Anyway, so getting on, this is the thing, I don't think this is going to work now, because Stephen is really the person that would be best to talk about this particular thing. Where is it? There's a couple of articles I picked up during the week. There was this one here and this one here. It's a counterpoint to the whole issue that we're facing here in Thailand. Excuse me. More data coming out from the establishment. Over 1,300 factories were up for sale or out of business in the first 10 months of this year. You got all this a bit more Coke and I'll start. I think Pepsi's probably half the thing. Part of the thing that caused it last night. Yeah. I actually had for lunch yesterday. I had a chili dog, and that's probably what started it. It was really, the chili dog was great, absolutely wonderful. It's a place in the Emporium, and it's like I've never had a chili dog from America, but we used to have an Australian version of a chili dog where you'd have the chili, sauce on top of the hot dog and with cheese and onions. I used to love them in Australia. They made a chili dog which was musab with chili on top of the hot dog, on top of the bun, and it was absolutely gorgeous. But as soon as I ate that, I could feel that I like eating chili, but chili has a reverse effect about liking me. But probably 10 minutes after I ate the chili dog, I could feel it just, in the back of my throat and in my, like chili just does that, and that's that's almost what set it off. And then I just, throughout the afternoon, it just got worse and worse. That's why I tend not to eat too many chilies, because, it has this effect on me. And it can be sort of, inconvenient, to say the least. I've seen 3 new expats in our area in Vietnam yesterday. More was seen in immigration line at the airport. God, want a bit more choke. A bit more choke, and I got to get better glasses. I really do. Yeah, more thumbs up. Thank you very much, people. So all the bad stories. So I try to avoid the bad stories, but again, we don't really talk about these bad stories enough about really what's happening here in Thailand and how this high baht is really affecting a lot of Thai people. And again, this is all obviously, I suppose, in conjunction with the this Chim Chop Chai about trying to boost the economy and getting things started. What this is saying in this article here, there were 1,339 factories with 34,569 employees and a total investment of probably 56.9 billion baht registered for sale or out of business in the first 10 months of 2019, according to the industry ministry. The factories were classified into 21 industrial groups, including crop products, foods, drinks, clothing, woodwork, paper, chemicals, everything. Basically, with the high baht, they're getting the products that Thailand produce cheaper out of Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, Vietnam and Malaysia. Thailand's basically sort of pricing itself out of the market. This is not the end of it, right? It's almost going to be a crashing economy here in Thailand if they don't fix the problem. And there has been articles this week, the fact that the banking establishments are really getting quite paranoid about what's going to happen next and so on. Which is, again, this is the counterpoint. the 2020s are set to become an economic turning point, says global banking giant. This is not so much about Thailand, it's just to do with the whole state of the economy of the planet at the moment, which I thought was, a good counterpoint to just looking at Thailand locally. Entrepreneurs who are meanwhile expressing concern that Thailand's subdued economic situation in 2009 will continue into 2020. So we're not over the worst of it yet. So 2060, 2061, number of factories, number of employees, investment, so on and so forth, dissolved businesses. So it's not just happening in 2019. Over the last few years, it's just been getting worse and worse as the value of the baht increased. And it requires somebody to actually make a complete reversal of the situation. But it looks like all we're looking for right now is a recession, right? Basically, a high unemployment, no money coming back into the country, Thais who can afford to are leaving the country to go and spend money elsewhere. It's going to come and bite them in the arse, and then hopefully they'll start to listen to people who actually know how to run the show, and it'll then sort of reverse itself way back, and then things will get better. But yes, it's not looking pretty right now. This article here sort of goes on to explain a little bit more about what's happening on a global basis, which is not only just Thailand, but specifically around the world. This whole globalization from 1981 to 2016 has ended and is reversing, right? So basically every border is closing down now and sort of, introducing tariffs to try to, boost their own internal economies. And Thais, what they need to do, they need to relax some of that import duties to the fact that they can bring product back into the country so Thais can start spending money locally. Whether that will happen, in time, we don't really know. Which one's that one? This is that one. That was one I was using before. I can't read that one. Does that make sense? I've got to get more of that. That's a good throat spray, that one. But I've got Senator money. I've just got to finish the live stream and go and make some. Definitely, I think new rules for visas, etc., and a host of, let's say, regulations has affected the Thai economy. They did not think it through. Well, they're going sort of, these rules are being made by people who have careers in politics, but really have got no idea about economics. And this is what we sort of, not only in Thailand, we've got it happening all around the planet. Australia, we got, I think what the Morrison, the current Prime Minister, is going down a religious frickin' bent right now. Where that's going to take Australia is anybody's guess. I think I read an article this morning. It's going Pentecostal, if you know what I mean. What? Seriously? When did religion and politics ever mix? For the last 2,000 years, we've got so much history that you just got to keep religion out of politics, and now we've got a freaking Australian Prime Minister going down a religious path. What the I really don't know. So there we go. Australia's heading for another freaking bad time as well. Going to be some bargains in the used car market very soon. Well, again, that's something that we don't really see much of, do we, Adrian? I can't believe the prices that these used cars sort of lots have got for those cars that sort of showed up after they introduced the last incentive. There was that incentive program that they had to get Thais to buy new cars. I think that started 6 years ago. It finished last year. And those cars, basically they couldn't make their payments. The cars ended up in the lot. And so you have $1 million baht car with, that's 4 years old, and they're wanting 800,000 baht for it. Really? It's a second hand, it's 4 years old, and you're trying to recoup your costs. Well, you shouldn't have done it at 1.5% interest to start with, sort of mentality. It's just again, they're not economists making these harebrained decisions. They're making sort of stopgap measures, and what they need to do is they need to sit back and redesign, the whole democracy, capitalism equation, right, and stop having these harebrained short-term ideas. At least that's one thing with the current government here is, Chanya has got a 20-year plan, right? Whether he actually stays in politics for 20 years, that's another matter. But he's got an outline plan. I don't think it's very sound, and it is from a very militaristic mindset. But again, I don't know who his advisors are. Maybe this is just a phase they've got to go through just to get it corrected. But what we're just saying on a global sort of basis, everybody's just facing the same thing. The banks are now analysts expecting inflation and interest rates to increase from their current 5,000-year lows. The bank is expecting wealth inequality to fall next decade as voters demand redistribution and tax rises. These are sort of things that are going to help, but they don't sit well with most people, which is an unfortunate situation. Trade war to spread to the splinter net. These are some optimism, crystal ball gazing. The systemic shift in global supply chains seems structural, and we see a likely formation of dual tech ecosystems, one in China and one in the rest of the world. China is really sort of, still at full steam ahead to take over the world. We've just recent reports of Kenya have to give up ports, to Chinese rule because they can't pay their debts. I think we've talked about that before. They loan money to countries that give no chance of ever paying their debts back. And this is how China's expanding into the world market, unfortunately. Blame Trump for the currency. Well, you can't really blame Trump. Trump's just the figurehead at the moment. He's just he's the right scapegoat at the right time, to readjust everything.
And the best part is he bent everything to his advantage.
Well, that's what he's making some decisions to obviously, line his own pockets, yes. But there are reports of the fact that, like he came into politics with money and he's actually he's unlike the predecessors who came in with very little money and have made a killing. It's actually reversed his fortunes. But I think that's go on.
I think he wants to make more than what he has now, based on his assets and his shares and whatnot.
Yeah, well, the people are that depends on which sort of side of the coin you're looking at there. Like I've seen the reverse sort of thing. Like he came into power with $4.5 billion in net assets, or something like that as personal net worth, and now his personal net worth is only valued at about $3 billion. So he's actually lost the $1.5 billion in personal net worth over the last 4 years. I don't know how he's kept. Again, so he won't file his tax returns. We can't see his tax returns. We don't know how the whole thing's going. They're still pushing on that issue.
No, all this going to review maybe 8 years, 4 years later. It's always like that in the U.S. presidency scam and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Usually happens this way.
Excuse me. Sorry. I just saw something from Pat there. I personally think that.
Hi, Stephen.
It's going to take my responsibility. Save it, fight it for If only the Thai government stop trying to play the economic play with the economic worrying, leave the experts. Yeah, the trouble is, who are the experts here in Thailand? We've talked about the education system over here, haven't we, Stephen? And it's really not the sort of education system that, in me instills confidence in their economic prowess. They need to be talking to the global experts, but again, this is a Thai thing. They're very nationalistic, and a Thai is always right sort of attitude to everything that goes on. But again, they're making mistakes now that we've seen other countries do make those same mistakes 30 years ago. What's the saying? It's the first sign of stupidity. You keep on doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results or something. They should have seen the fact that it never worked. What makes you think it's going to work any different? The economics that you're making now simply don't work. You need to reinvent the economic model. Not enough people are actually looking at the whole basic income guarantee system that has been talked about quite extensively over the last 10 years. There are some interesting models in that. It still needs fine-tuning, but again, people don't like the whole socialistic aspect of it. Everybody has a different idea in socialism. But social economics has some very positive benefits if it's done properly, as long as you don't have too many arseholes at the top. Hillsong, Hillsong, here we come. Yeah, they cannot expect, Stephen, they cannot expect foreign companies and tourists to spend and then start laying down the law. It has to say that, that is to say, they cannot have their cake and eat it too. They're trying to encourage, foreigners to come in with, their skill sets. But again, they're putting limitations on that. I'm pretty sure that if you come in here and build a, what they call a 4.0 style tech company, what happens after the 4-year visa runs out? Do you have to apply for another one? There's no roadmap there. They don't look at the long-term future. And if you're in that sort of sector, you're going to be saying, well, really, do you want to sort of move that money in here and then sort of, relinquish it 4 years from now? You're still only a temporary citizen. They need to give more permanency behind those sort of models for actually to make it work. This is where Thailand seems to lack the common sense that's going to obviously create those inroads into innovation and technology, which would be a good way out for Thailand. This whole always Thai, it's a bad model. That's all I can sort of say. Travelling man, good afternoon. We're looking for a car in Thailand. Yeah, well, I keep on sort of saying the best place to probably look around there is Kai D. You're getting some more realistic prices on the Kai D sort of front, but again, you've got to make sure that there's no incumbents. We don't have a system over here like we have in Australia called Revs, where you can actually ring up and find the financial history of the car, and you don't want to actually sort of give somebody, some money for a second-hand car and then all of a sudden have the repo agent sort of landing on your doorstep. You're basically out of pocket two times over. You lost your money and then you lose your car. A lot of these cars being sort of sold second-hand, you got to get the green book. I believe that's how it works. So if somebody can correct me on that, unless when the finance company has a car under finance, the green book is owned by the finance company, which means it can't be resold. But then, of course, there's green book photocopying and sort of duplication and forgeries and things like that to sort of scam the system which goes on. As a foreigner, I don't know how you would actually sort of how you would get around that, because the whole thing's in Thai. You wouldn't know whether one green book over if you fell over one. I've got one in here, you know, my motorcycle green book in here somewhere. It's just a green book. I'm going to go looking for it. It's in here somewhere. It's in my box of bits. But these are sort of things I've heard about when it comes to second-hand cars. At least when you're buying from a car lot, at severely marked up prices, you know that they're doing it the right way. They've already exercised due diligence, and and it's checked its encumbrance, and because they've now got the green book, and I very much doubt that they would be sort of encountering a forgery sort of type of situation. They'd know what to look for. But there's some pretty good deals out there though. I've seen some motorcycle deals that look quite interesting, for things that interest me. Chanya again, but she wants a new car. We'll see how we go with that one. See who wins out in the long run. That one. Land of Smiles has attacked the hand that feeds them, thinking they are ready to fly a plane. It's on autopilot now. It's heading for a crash landing. Well, pretty much. It's there's a lot to economic modelling that I think I've mentioned that I did economics back in secondary school as part of your elective system. I don't even think it's been taught in schools anymore. That's really what we can only blame the education system. What, you're only starting to learn economics when you go to university? Wow. We were doing that stuff in I was my second or third year in high school, and now it's become a university degree. God, it's just basic math. But who's that voice? That's Blue. Blue's Inc.
Yep.
That's his pseudonym here on the Discord. We just call him Blue. Blue lives in Singapore, so we get a bit of a point counterpoint between the two different models between Thailand and Singapore. This is more in our private chats. Again, getting back to the Discord channel, this is what we're doing. We're building a better community, and we're getting having more chats recently. The whole idea is it's an open channel. You come in, just hang out, and join in the fun. That's what it's for. It's for everybody. It's not for me. It doesn't cost me anything to run. Doesn't make me any money. It's about building somewhere where people can hang out and have a voice, have an opinion, and it's not being monitored by Facebook, so you don't get banned. Well, I'll ban if you start being an arsehole. I'll ban you too. But it's going to take a lot of button pushing to ban somebody. Isn't China building a rail system? Yeah, that's what I was looking at before when it came up. Building rail. There is a rail system project, but again, I think Thailand's being a little bit apprehensive about the deals that's on the table. Basically, they don't want to fall into the Kenya ports trap where they can't meet their repayments and effectively lose control of it, because this is what's going to happen. It could potentially escalate past just trade embargoes and trade sanctions. But there are some high-speed rail projects on the fly. I think one of them is sealed with the CP group from Bangkok through to down the east coast. I think that was finally ratified or went that got signed off a couple of weeks ago. When it actually sort of takes place and when it gets built, that's a completely different matter altogether. I'm way behind. Joe Ford, good afternoon. Okay, so Steve has obviously put some links down there for us as well. I am coping. We're coming up to the 2-hour mark. Archie Luxury will take care of the rail problem. Yeah, why not? Stick Archie in charge? Oh my God, really? No, like he'll sell everybody a watch. Yeah, so a little bit of the story about a friend of mine that we hung out with last night. He's just come over. He got held up on one of the connecting flights halfway through his journey on the tarmac. Before, taxiing to take off, they had to repark the plane because of a rowdy passenger, which added an hour to their flight time. Right, he arrived here so an hour late on the airport. Well, actually an hour and a half late. Then his organised car ditched him because they're not going to wait around an hour and a half for a fare. They were expecting to come in. The car that they'd hired had disappeared. They had to get that back to the airport because they had 4 people and 4 suitcases. Got to their hotel. Their hotel was cancelled. Oh my God. So we were supposed to meet up around about 6 or 7 o'clock last night. He didn't get there till 10 o'clock. It was a bit of a challenge for him, but he finally got there, and we hung out till 3 o'clock in the morning. So maybe I might be actually a bit better if I wasn't out till 4. If I didn't get home at 4 a.m. But you get the idea. I've been burning the candle at both ends, so a bit of a sore throat, and then it's just escalated. Sometimes you got to do that till get it. My system has to get a kickstart. Sometimes it has to get a grip, as Steve would say. Patek Philippe on every wrist. What? Those are branded watches. I don't know. I wouldn't know about watches. I've got my edifice. My Cassie edifice has done me pretty good for the last 3 years. Quite happy with that one. Economic models. House. That was another good point. The bond bubble about to burst. Basically gone. Bonds around the globe are actually going into negative figures. Anyway, it's a good article if you come around to it. If you don't know the article, this is another part of the article that they really sort of highlight as the ageing population. So here we are in 2019 or 2018. The amount of children under 5 versus the amount of people over the age of 65, an ageing population. This is why these, countries are now looking at the fact that they want to extend your, so say they want you working until the age of 75 because, unfortunately, they've spent all the money they've been saving in the taxation system to give us pensions, and every country's broke. And again, I'm very much anti-EV, knowing sort of the data I am familiar with. They're still predicting a rise, but unless, of course, they can produce the electricity outside the fossil fuel industry, then it's a pointless exercise. There are some interesting developments happening in the EV sort of side, outside the actual lithium battery sort of problem, which people don't realise that it actually the lithium battery in a car, it takes 8 years of running a motor vehicle, an EV vehicle, to cover the greenhouse gases that are required to produce that battery. So all that, and again, that's not to do with the whole charging cycle, which is again still mostly coal-fired. So they talk about the fact that the effective green cycle doesn't kick in for an EV until about 12 years of ownership, right? And that doesn't account for the cost of replacing your batteries, which only last about 5 years anyway. So the whole world is being duped into the EV paradigm without really the full knowledge of the whole cycle, which they just need to come clean with this shit. And then again, if they stop, subsidising the oil industry, maybe there would be a faster take up and an equalisation of this process. We need to go through renewables, as in solar and geothermal and wind, to generate that power. That's when we can start to see a decent sort of return on investment, and an EV future. But right now, there is none. It is a talking point with talking to the dumb people out there. Do your bit to save the planet. Seriously, stop picking up plastic. Stop buying shopping in your plastic bags. That's a good start. I thought it was into high season. Was it okay? But watching a stream from Pattaya, it looked very slow. What's that? Not quite following. My last cost 100 baht 2 years ago, but it's now losing. I think it's probably better to have a watch that doesn't work at all when it's losing. At least it's right twice a day. Australia too is looking to China for short-term monetary gain, regardless of deaths in China and baby milk contaminated with melamine. China will now be in control of it in Tasmania, you reckon? Okay, well. I might be taking a bit of a refund. Let's go nuclear. Well, this is the thing. I'm very pro-nuclear. It makes sense, but let's see if we can get some more escalation to the thorium, what they call the liquid salt reactors, which have a good fail-safe system. That's where the future should be really, spending some money. But again, you got even in the nuclear sector, the returns on investment. It was launched by the fact that there was an arms race, right? So there was a byproduct that could be garnered from the current modelling of the nuclear reactors. That's why it escalated. It only requires 200 nuclear fucking bombs to go off in the planet, and we have got a nuclear winter for 10 years, right? Why we have 15,000 nuclear freaking warheads on the planet, that's another thing altogether, really. But such is the way we have a planet of, monkeys trying to show who's got the biggest dick. We all just got to get used to living together again, Thailand seemed to have one thing really well done, is their family unit. And I think a lot of Asian countries do. It's the fact that the way that the family supports the family. I think that's a good model. They could teach that to the rest of the world if they just didn't get so high and mighty about it and sort of, have to deal with the other shit that goes along with it. The Italians seem to do it very well. I think the Greeks do it pretty well. The Asian countries do it well. The West countries, there's this stigma about the kid in the basement at 26 years old, watching porn. Well, most kids in America and Australia and England, they're trying to get out of the house at the age of 16 and then expecting the government to pay their way. There's two sides to that model that don't really work either. EV and nuclear, that's a good point, Adrian. Yeah, that would be the way that the whole thing could come together. But then again, Robert Anton Wilson would sort of, have a counterpoint on that one and to say, the sun's 92 billion miles away, and that's probably a safe distance for a nuclear fucking power plant. If it's not built right. But the what they call stage 3 nuclear plants, they're fairly efficient. If they could only find a way of getting rid of the waste product, that would be where we need to be sort of focusing now. Maybe stick the waste product on, reusable rocket heads, through Musk Industries and aim it at the sun. That'll certainly take care of the waste product, won't it? Throw it into a nuclear furnace that's going to run for another 6 billion years. Reusable launch vehicles, it's definitely got a possibility. Well, you've only got to just get it up there and point it at the sun and get the right trajectory path. That takes care of all your waste product. Once they got that launch fees down to a sort of reasonable level, that's factored that into manufacturing costs of the nuclear power plant. It's problem solved. But people just don't think like I do. But yeah, again, getting back to the thorium salt, the thorium liquid salts, that's really where we need to be doing it. But I think China's probably going to come to the party with the thorium lem process before America will. You're off the market, are you then, Robert? Okay, good. Plant more trees. Well, there's actually sort of scientific evidence that planting more trees really doesn't solve the problem. It's a great idea. It solves a short-term problem, but it's a carbon capture system that's also fraught with problems as well. We should be reforesting the planet for other reasons, which is the other creatures that live on this planet. It's just not a human habitat. It's a planet. We're losing more more species per year now than we ever have in the whole of history of the planet, because we're taking their habitat. We should be considering the fact that we are custodians of the planet, right? And it should be shared by all. But it's a very altruistic mentality that I have, and probably won't fly. Brett, Brett, there's a question there. Did you transfer your money for house purchase before the current slump in currencies, or will you? I will have, when we actually get the approval. We still don't know how we're doing the whole thing yet. So how much of a deposit? Like I've allocated $1 million baht for the project. Now one that I've looked at here, that needs 500,000 baht worth of renovations. Security doors and everything else, security windows, grills, a whole bunch of other stuff, moving a few walls, building a kitchen, and so on and so forth. But again, I've only got my guarantee for my visa in the bank account, so I will have to start moving that money. Once everything's sort of sorted out, I will start moving over in chunks. I think at the moment, I think anything over $10,000 moving out of the country at any one time raises a flag with transfer wires, and it takes about a week to get here. If you do it consistently over a number of transfers, it raises other red flags. So you got to be careful about how you move the money across the country. Again, Australia just don't want you fucking spending the money anywhere else in the world. They want you to spend the money in Australia. It's Australian money. What? No, it's my money. I can do what I want with it. But that justification doesn't really work these days. But yeah, I'll be shipped over in batches. Probably I may move 20,000, which will be the deposit, and then as we do the renovations, then month by month, because it works out. I think the $1 million baht that I'm allocated, that's at 48,000 baht. Now it's still $48,000, isn't it? At the moment, I'd have to do the calculation. So it'd be sort of 5 transfers of $10,000 at a time, but over a period of 3 or 4 months, so that it doesn't really get upset. Oh, okay, so we had a bit of a dip in the Australian dollar, and now it's coming back, and we're at 20.65. That's all right. Yeah. So what's our current rate? Australian dollars. So no, not in Australian. I don't know with Thai baht. So 1,000,000 right now. That's $48,500. Yeah, so that's 5 transfers at $10,000 a piece. That's how I move it across. But probably 2 initially. That would be sort of a deposit, depending on how that balances out. And then the additional would be the house renovations and so on and so forth. Or it might be, 3 transfers, or 2 transfers to get to show on the road. Put another 10,000 on it, on the thing as we go. Put another 10. We'll work something out. It's up here. It's just how it actually happens. I don't know. I've got to look at some other details. Yeah, China's building some reactors. I believe I was reading that as well, but they're getting closer to the what they call it, the fusion energy. I still, to this day, I think that the fusion energy thing, it's a great principle, but I don't think it's ever going to become a reality. Just look at the numbers that I've sort of seen recently published. It's getting closer, but unless, of course, we can come up with a, what they call a standard temperature superconductor, I don't think we've got any sort of chance of ever meeting that. And I think the superconductor temperature is now only sort of 90 degrees below zero, but it's still not quite there yet. But again, science is science, who's to know what's around the door? The question for governments is not how much money we can save for people, but rather can we afford people to live cheaply? Well, if we could just stop all the commercialisation and how many freaking mobile phones. I was watching a Thai coming home on the bus yesterday. She had two mobile phones. Okay, I got 3 mobile phones, but that's another point. She had 2 mobile phones. She's sitting in there. She's playing that Pokemon game on 2 freaking mobile phones. Well, Thais aren't sure.
Pokemon fan.
Yeah, she's a Pokemon fan. She can afford to have 2 mobile phones to play Pokemon.
Warren.
Yep.
I got a question for Stephen. He says that the question for government is not how much money we can save for the people, or rather, can we support or afford for people to live cheaply? So I concur that his question is that how much is the government taking?
How much is the government taking? In what way? What do you mean? How much is that?
In their salary, their KPIs, their whatever, their benefits and whatnot.
Well, there's a taxation system that's different to every country. Of course, that's where we got. That's what taxation sort of works around. They tax the people accordingly to raise the money to do the projects. What's not happening in Australia at the moment, and why Thailand is doing so well, is the fact that Australia is spending zero money in infrastructure projects. They're more concerned about selling off the assets that they had rather than sort of starting major rail projects or major, like they say, a high-speed rail project between Sydney and Newcastle would open up a whole new economic corridor for the east coast of Sydney or east coast of Australia. It is a project, but the thing is nobody's willing to sort of cough up and sort of go into debt for it. The last thing we went into debt for, and it's just been basically white elephant, was their NBN, which was doomed to failure from the start.
It's redundant, right?
Yeah.
It's a redundancy, right?
Yeah, but a high-speed rail system would definitely sort of change the whole economic side of Sydney, right?
What I was trying to tell you guys or share with you guys is that the same happens to be in Japan, right? Because of their parliament system or their legislative system, that in order to gain votes from citizens or the public, they need to come out some kind of a summary of projects for that particular country, right?
Yeah.
So what happened in Japan now is that they got plenty of roads, because all they do is they keep on coming out on projects on building roads, and it becomes a redundancy in Japan. Even in the outskirts, nobody is living there, but the road infrastructure is there. So what does it tell us, right? Nobody lives in the outskirts of Japan, but there are plenty of roads. If you not believe me, you can go to the internet or whatever, Google Map, and check it out yourself.
Well, it does. It comes down to how quickly you can get them into the places where they want to work, and there's other parts that have to be done on that equation, which is basically moving production centres away from areas and moving in, like we've got what they call industrial zones on the central coast there, but again they're not being leveraged because people can't get to them quickly. They need to look at the fact that they need to incentivize companies to move out of the CBDs. Right, that's they only do half a project, so they get high-speed rail and good roads to services, but then of course they're not sort of saying, well, we want this banking sector to move out of Japan, or out of Japan, or we want this manufacturing plants out of Hokkaido and into the rural areas where it's very well serviced by roads and rail. Right, that's when they start to work. But again, companies are just going to flatly refusing to move. They're not being. Nobody's giving them the money to sort of pack up shop and move the whole thing. This is what I mean. It comes down to doing the right infrastructure projects. What we need to do, we need to spread it out a bit. There's plenty of land. But unfortunately, the way the system's built is, that they're not making, forcing people to spread out. If you know what I mean. That's one of the things.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. That's why, for example, Bangkok is so jammed up today.
Yeah, and again, so that was what we talked about the other day. Is they're talking about moving. I think it was one of the things that Stephen linked here.
Yeah.
Where's that link?
The last topic, right? I mean, the last chat that we had.
Yeah, Thailand news. That was the other part of the thing. There was. Let me sort of get that one there, which was this article here about should Thailand give up on Bangkok and move its capital. I think that we didn't talk much about that one there, but those again, they're talking about the rising sea level and sinking Bangkok. Again, they want to move the government sector out of the central Bangkok, which is going to move a whole bunch of people. But again, are they going to move? People have moved into Bangkok to be closer so they can get there on time. If they're going to move this out, are they going to move all those people? That's the thing that, again, the ideas seem to sort of be half-baked. They don't think about it. It's a great idea to move that sector of business out of Bangkok and move it to, 50 miles east or 50 miles north or 50 miles west. But then, of course, what do you do with the people who have, shaped their life around the fact that they've got this house? What are you going to incentivize them to actually move their house out to, Tromburi or sort of, where is it? Northern Buri, if that was where they're going, or Pattaya or whatever. They expect it's just going to happen, but it's just not going to happen because people don't have the disposable income to do it. And that's where again, this is what happens in Australia. This happens with great ideas only half thought through because these guys that making these decisions are clueless about economics.
Exactly.
So, Jay Ford, expansion of palm oil farms, a big problem globally now. I've heard about there's a lot of it's not so much the farms, it's just the removal of the existing species and things like that, which is causing problems.
Okay, I'd like to share a story about Singapore and its palm story.
Okay, just tell us a bit about your Singapore. Yeah, go on.
All right. Okay. It's the interesting part. In Singapore, we got a 12-month calendar, 12 months per year. There will be like 3 to 4 months. The whole island will be smoked out. Haze or smoke or whatever you call it, right? And it's all thanks to our neighbor in Indonesia. They burn the palm oil palm plantation or something like that, just to recycle the land or renew the land. And they create smokes and whatnot to Malaysia, Singapore, and Thailand, maybe. Yeah.
I don't think the currents actually bring it up to Thailand, but we have a sort of similar thing here. It's not so much palm oil. It's this is the problem we're facing up in the north, which is their feedstock, their corn feedstock and everything else. That does require a burn off. There are alternatives, but I'm not going to go into it. But as I said, the government, they're just saying the government should step in, and bring in rules to curb the burn off process. But as soon as that happens, the feedstock price rises by 5% or 10%, which then what happens is the fact that the people making the feedstock or doing that sort of farming, it's just an economic model. They just to say, hey, well, if I'm paying 100 baht now per kilo for my feedstock for my pigs, I can get it for 95 baht from Myanmar. Even with your import tariffs, right? So, and then what happens is the fact that then Myanmar says, oh, we're on a winner here. Let's put more feedstock, plantations out. And what happens there is the fact that prevailing winds from Myanmar then flood Chiang Mai worse than the current situation we've got. So it's a catch-22 situation. An article I was reading last year was about how to make these what they call charcoal blocks, where there is for very much zero infrastructure. Basically, you need a 44-gallon drum, couple of bricks, and a bit of a creative welding, right? And you can start. You can take your corn feed stock, stalks and things like that. You can then carbonize them, crush it down, and create what they call, these carbon charcoal blocks which you can then resell, right? And they're very popular in the city, and it creates a new industry for these people. But it requires someone to actually go up there and educate the farmers. This is an alternative where you can make some money, right? But nobody's doing it. There's a great YouTube article about how the process works, which I actually sat down and watched, and I thought fascinating. But how do you tell these Thai farmers have been doing that farming for generations, trying to get them to change the way they do things, right? It requires sort of a little bit of reprogramming, which seems to be a very difficult thing here in Thailand. And it's always worked this way. We don't want to do it any other way than what we know, because that's the way we know how to do it. But if you can only just show them the fact that, well, how about a few extra baht for doing this? It's very little work, a little bit of education, a little bit of work, and you can make almost the same sort of money per kilo as what you're making for your feedstock, for the product you're burning in the air,
Right.
It just takes some time to get them on board with that.
Hey Warren, how are you? Hello Blue.
Hello.
Hi, g'day Billy, how you doing?
Hi, Billy.
Very well, thanks. 28th wedding anniversary today, so I've been out for lunch with the wife.
Oh yeah? What'd you eat?
So what time is there, man?
Just went to the pub and had a mixed grill, and she had a chili beef pie or something. It's all delicious.
Chili beef pie.
Oh.
Oh, all very nice. Actually, you said something before, Warren, that reminded me of a joke.
What's that?
Yeah. So, what have you heard what the latest craze in the schools in Tasmania are?
No, okay. I'm not really up on speed on that one.
Oh, poke your mum.
Okay, right, okay, but that's not that's not a new craze, is it? That's an old craze.
Probably, but you're talking about that girl on the EPS or something.
Yeah.
Pokemon and I.
Yeah.
You couldn't resist. Yes. You're going to take. Gosh, we can't get Stephen's voice working today, so you're going to have to carry the show today. I don't know what.
I thought that's good then. You might be able to hang shit on without the Aussie accent.
Yeah. There's a Robert Groves who, yes, we get interest on our FCD account. So just giving us about money. I never know what interest rate I get on my account. I haven't sort of seen any interest payments go into the thing, but I don't know how often they pay interest. And I haven't worked out actually tell my app to print me a statement either. So I'll get there eventually. There's the home, there's the scan more, so exchange rates, bank settings, banking, payments, withdraw, top ups, statements, there we go.
Banking said you make 10% in a year on the falling Aussie.
So I'm just going back. So I've had the account now for a couple of months. I've seen
right.
I've seen a 10 baht fee. It looks like I got a 10 baht fee there. I don't know what that was for.
Right.
Oh, okay. So what's that? 187 baht. Oh, no, that was me. What did that? That's a 1, 2, 3. I know that was something I bought on Lazada. So it was.
Right.
Another cash withdrawal, 3,010 baht. 90 baht. So since I've had the account, I haven't had anything that can be considered something to look at as an interest payment. I don't know how often they come through, so maybe it's quarterly, and I just haven't get the quarterly cycle yet. So I don't ever know what I suppose I could find out. I just haven't gone looking.
So Stephen's his volume, his voice thing's not working. You're saying?
Yeah.
He's got something not plugged in properly, or he's done something that's caused it to stuff up. So we're going to have to look at that when we finish the stream. I'll see if I can get that something working there. I elect to earn no interest on my account. It all gets chewed up in fees anyway. When I get $100, I may reconsider.
Oh, he's taking the blame on you. He says it's warranty.
It's always my fault. Yeah, I know, Lee. This is the thing. It's my fault. Yeah. You always got to have a scapegoat. Your scapegoat.
Warren is funny though. It's his money, and he says it's your fault.
Yeah, it's his money, my fault. Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty strange, right?
No, it's pretty much normal for most Australians. It's always somebody else's fault.
Oh, okay.
It's an Australian way of thinking.
Oh.
And Bangkok Bank is 1.5%. Yeah, I don't know what I'm getting, but as I said, it'll be once a year, or it'll be quarterly, and I'll get some sort of thing back, and then I'll know where I stand with it.
Yeah. Well, Steven says he's the good and you're the scapegoat.
I'm the scapegoat. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I'll make sure when we go on our bus trips that let's catch this bus, Steve, and then he'll get on, and I'll just say, I got to get off, and then let him go on his own, and that's it. Let him get lost on his own. I think you are engaging goat's milk. Well, I've heard actually goat's milk is actually more healthy. Well, no mammary gland excretions is really good for human beings. Apart from the ones that our species create. That's good for our children. But lactating goats and lactating cows, which one's better? I don't know. I actually don't drink milk. I don't drink milk much these days. I drink the Yakult, which is the,
Yogurt.
not a yogurt. It's it's Yakult is one of them. It's a Thai version of the Yakult, which is it's a probiotic.
Probiotic drink. Yeah.
That's about the only milk I drink, and of course when they make latte, I do like my lattes. That's the only other time I probably drink milk.
Kids love it.
So downloads off. Okay then, buddy. Graham in pictures. Will Thailand let transfer back to make profit? Will Thailand let transfer back to make profit? A strange phrase, turn of phrase. I think he's just saying, can you retrade, if you buy Thai currency, can you then trade it back for other currency to make a profit? I believe that's a possibility, but you've got to be registered in the trading sector to do that. They do have a stock market, and you can be trading by buying and selling currencies. Doing it through a normal bank, I don't think it's a profitable way to do it, because the low margins of the trades, plus the high SWIFT fees. It's not designed for the average person to so saying let's play the money market with $10,000. It's just not worth it. But on the trading floor, I think it can be done. Probiotic?
Uh,
Can you tell me what probiotic means, Warren, without telling me?
what? It's pushing a button.
Yeah, he's pushing my buttons. It's the
Yeah.
opposite to an antibiotic, you know. Antibiotics,
Yeah.
those pills you take yeah, they also ruin your biotics. Probiotic is the reverse thing. It helps you create your own and balances the body again. Try almond milk. Since when does milk come out of almonds? That's the weirdest thing I've ever heard of in my whole life. Almond milk? That was.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was just to really sort of appease the,
I don't know.
bring appeasement to these freaking damn vegans and other crazy people who think that they're going to save the planet by not eating freaking meat, which has served our species for the last 10,000 years we know of.
Here's the joke. There's these people who are vegan. They say that what eating beef will create more carbon.
Yep.
I don't know what. It's nonsense, man.
Yep. Yeah. I'll
They
eat.
didn't really look into the.
I'll eat my pig. Thanks, vegans. Right? Just be thankful for the fact that my food has been eating your food. Okay. uh, Made 10%. I'm not quite sure. I'm not following what Graham's doing. Oh, you made 10% in the trade back. Well, again, that's possible. You can leverage the Bitcoin sort of scene if you want to take those risks as well. There is money to be made out there. It's that they all take a risk sector, and the older we get, the less risk we want to take. I actually just redid my sums. Around 16.66%, 20 to 24 baht. Well, I'm not quite sure what that means, Adrian. So, Lucky Luke, hello, Stephen, Warren, later. Well, that's right. We're still going. I'm still suffering from a sore throat, but I'm managing. I'm also getting a bit blurry eyes, so I think it was about time I sort of did think about wrapping things up. Stephen, I eat meat.
I eat meat, but only white meat.
Bloody cannibal.
It's funny, man.
Transfer baht within Thai to Warren, and he can transfer AUD to Australia. I really don't want to get involved in that stuff. Seriously, I don't think there's any. The way there's just the risks involved is ridiculous, and you're better off playing, what they call what I do with my investments.
Right.
Baskets of investments that are guaranteed. I was showing some, I'm showing some, my trading stuff for the last 10 years. That's how you make money. You don't. It's long-term investments. Soya milk, that comes from beans. Soya milk. I remember we used to give our daughter soybean milk. When she was growing up, and and when she was like I'm talking 18 months because long story short, she didn't drink milk. She went on to soybean milk. When she went off the breast. And she'd throw that shit up, and mate, did that stuff stink. Oh my God. Really, kid puke is one thing, but kid puke with soybean milk, that is just something else. That is so rank. It is just rank. It really is just so rank. I don't know how anybody could feed their kids freaking soybean milk. But again, she was lactose intolerant, so she had to drink it. But yeah, that's another story for another day.
Steven has he had a good investment plan.
You transfer the Snapchat, then download it to Discord via Facebook, then vlog it on YouTube, and you share it on Twitter. One of these days he's going to come up with a really creative scheme that'll actually might work, right? But look, I'm pretty sure he's doing the same sort of finance models that most of the politicians are doing out there.
Warren, it's your fault. You didn't make him a Discord admin. It's your fault.
No, he'll delete the Discord channel. I'm gonna check the security setting, make sure he can't, because like he's just as likely he can't get his sound working. The next thing he's gonna click something, and there you go, blow the whole Discord channel up. So that's another thing.
Next time when we log in, right, there won't be any server there.
Yeah, that's right. I gotta. If you still have trouble, get PopeKael to transfer the funds to you. Yeah, right, okay. Yes, Pope Stephen. But anyway, I do think there's probably we've been going for 2.5 hours. We've still got 27 people watching. We've got 30 thumbs up. It's been a pretty good stream, even with my croaky throat and a few expletive coughs and things like that. But yeah, sort of. I just wanted to talk about the whole thing that the way the economy is going and why things are going the way they're going. Again, for the climate change the denialists, there's the global temperatures anomalies. Over the last 100 years, 120 years, global temperatures. No. We're not seeing a change in global temperatures, according to the climate change deniers. But you've got to look at the data. The data really doesn't lie, when you look at the data, and there definitely does seem to be a change in temperature there, doesn't there? I don't know. They don't make these graphs up. This is data that's been collected over since 1880. So. Either the data was collected wrong. That's what the deniers is sort of saying. But how could it be wrong? It's just a freaking somebody reads the temperature and puts it on a chart. Read the temperature, put it on a chart. Read the temperature. That's all they do. How can you really fuck that up? I know where some of these scientists are really brain dead, but they really can't fuck up this shit. Climate change deniers. That's another sector of the population really need to be taken off the planet, starting with the freaking government that don't believe it's happening. Warren, put it in a timeout button. I'm going back to Discord. Yes. Anyway. Where's Steve? Stephen hasn't given me a thumbs down yet, slacker. Nah, let's see if we can actually run a stream without a thumbs down. Anyway, so I am sort of feeling a little bit hoarse in the throat. I'm gonna get some Senegal Ramoni into me, sort of get that healing process started. And sort of I've only had 4 hours sleep this morning, so I probably wouldn't mind going back for a nap. Yeah, look, I think I'm over this, and usually it takes 2 days. I'm just going to nick down to the chemist, get some more Tiffy, and once I got the Tiffy, probably come back here, take one or two Tiffy, then sleep the Senegal ammonia, and just go to sleep for 6 hours. See you later on the night. Anyway, I'm gonna sort of throw a bit of a curveball here. I'm going to get in here. I'm going to get the tune started, and not the TM30 song, Stephen. My closeout tune. Get this off screen here. We don't want to look at that. We want to go and sort of say bye bye, everybody. And we'll catch up with you hopefully Monday night. Don't forget, tomorrow the next house hunting video. Don't forget to join us on Discord if you can. And we'll talk to you soon. Stream is ending now.